Alright, so we've been stuck in this tier 0 format for quite a while now, but if we've learned anything from the past is that tier 0 formats are usually followed by very diverse ones. So today we're going to be taking a look at all the various decks receiving support and getting boosted by Legacy of Destruction, and I'm super hyped to get into all of that. So let me know if you're going to be picking any of the support up and trying to make some of these decks work. Also like the video if you enjoy it and share your thoughts in the comments, of course. So let's take a look at Lightsworn first. I'm super excited about this. Like I said in the last video, I just like Lightsworn and Edison and all of that. So I think it's kind of hype to maybe, possibly make Lightsworn work in 2024. So let's check Minerva, the Athenian Lightsworn. They're getting this Synchro, they're also getting a Fusion, and this really cool, like, baby Judgment Dragon, pretty much, looking like that. So, okay. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. This Synchro basically says that Lightsworn monsters you control cannot be banished by card effects, and it's also able to send Lightsworn monsters with different types from your deck to the grave, up to the number of Lightsworns used as material for the summon, and you're also able to banish up to 4 Lightsworn monsters from the graveyard and send that many cards from the top of your deck to the grave. So essentially it's just ways of getting your Lightsworns to the grave, which would be like Wolf, which you hopefully don't draw, but they are getting some support that actually helps you unbreak, and I think that's really important. So let's take a look at Weiss Lightsworn Archfiend. You can place one other Lightsworn card from your hand on top of the deck, special summon this card from your hand, then send the top 2 cards of your deck to the graveyard. So immediately when I saw this, it was just like, you know, this heavenly sound around me thinking about how you're not going to be breaking on Wolf and you're actually going to be able to mill it. So that's awesome. There's obviously more effects, but we have a lot of cards to go through today, so we're just going to be focusing on the main couple of things when it comes to all the archetypes. And I think a really important part of Lightsworn is going to be Lightsworn Dragonling. Not Dragon Link, but Dragonling. If you have a Lightsworn monster in your grave, you can special summon this card from your hand. If it's special summoned, you're able to send the Lightsworn card from your deck to the graveyard. Again, something that's going to be useful there. If this card is sent to the grave, you can add 1 dragon monster with 3000 attack, 2600 defense from your deck to your hand. So this is probably sounding very familiar. I think it's awesome. You're literally able to search Judgment Dragon. Like, I don't know how much difference this is going to make, like this entire support. But if you're excited about Lightsworn and if you're going to try to make them work, please let me know in the comments. So let us move on to Ancient Gear. I wanted to talk about only a couple of cards that I feel like are the best ones, and I also looked at a combo, and with Ancient Gear Advance, you're actually able to get through like a lot of things and get to a very decent end board just with this one card. So when this card is activated, you're able to add an Ancient Gear spell trap from your deck to your hand. And then you also can tribute a monster, draw 1 card, and then apply an effect that says you can normal summon Ancient Gear Golem or level 5 or higher monsters that mention it without tributing. So you are just able to go further into your deck and get your resources, which is going to help you with some of the other support cards. For example, Ancient Gear Tanker, because this one is able to, when it's normal or special summon an Ancient Gear monster from your hand, except itself, ignoring the summoning conditions. You can also summon from the graveyard if your opponent controls a monster. And yeah, we also have this last card that I wanted to take a look at, which is Ancient Gear Dark Golem. This card's name becomes Ancient Gear Golem, of course, while it's on the field or in the graveyard. And if it's normal special summon, you can add up to 2 cards from your deck to your hand, except itself. And the 2 cards that you're able to add is Ancient Gear cards and or Gear Town. So essentially, this entire support just makes Ancient Gear make a little more sense. So I think it's gonna be nice. I assume all of these cards are going to see play, so let me know what you think about this support. All right, so let's talk about Melodious. Now, a lot of you were kind of pissed at me for not giving Melodious props in my last video, or the previous one, I don't know. I did take a look at Melodious support. I just don't really think it's gonna be that meta relevant. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sorry, I don't want no beef, but it's just that I don't really know much about Melodious from what it used to do before. The support is looking interesting, but again, I'm just a little iffy on the meta relevancy of this archetype. So please share your thoughts if you're doing any combos and trying to break Melodious, I would love to know that. But let's take a look at the support. So there's quite a lot of cards, actually. They're all Pendulum monsters. We're not gonna read through every single one because we can like sit here for 15 minutes. But they are getting Refrain, the Melodious Songstress, also Melodious Concerto, I assume. So let's read this one because it's a spell card. Fusion summon one fairy fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand, field, and or pendulum zones. And if a Melodious fusion monster is sent to your grave while this card is in your grave, even during the damage step, you can place this card on the bottom of the deck and draw one card. So actually a really solid card. Their own way of fusion summoning their monsters, which they already have some fusion monsters, but they are getting new ones. So the Flowering Etoile, the Melodious Magnificat. Oh, I think it's Magnificat. Is it a cat? I don't know. Quick effect. You can banish until the end phase any number of Melodious monsters you control, then you can return up to that many face-up cards your opponent controls to the hand. So that's actually really good. It's non-targeting, and it's like a solid monster to end on. I did take a look at a couple of like combos and duels with Melodious, and you can fairly consistently get to an end board that's actually like doing something, which this is part of that end board. There's also the Melodious Maestra. While you control this fusion summon card, the activated effects of your Melodious fusion monsters cannot be negated, which is also cool. It's protection. And if it's special summon, you can special summon a Melodious monster from your deck. If it's sent to the grave, you can target a Melodious monster in the grave and special summon it in defense position. So it's actually able to get you to a lot of your resources, which is very, very solid. And then there's more Pendulum monsters, which I will have all of them for you up on the screen. So feel free to pause, take a look at it, you know, think about some Melodious combos. But yeah, that's it for Melodious support. Next up, I want to talk about Chimera. I've talked about it at length in my other videos as well, but I do genuinely think that Nightmare Apprentice is a really good card for that archetype. It's a free special summon, well, by discarding one card, which you don't really care about that much. And on summon, it's able to add an illusion monster from your deck to your hand. So just an extender, which Chimera desperately needed. And then there's also the Abyss, the original Scene Keeper. So I have talked about this card already, and I said that I don't really know which decks are going to be running this, but I assume, because it's an illusion and there's a whole lot of new illusion support and all of that, that Chimera might actually be able to utilize it. So let me know what you think. If a Sinful Spoils card is in either grave, you're able to special summon this card from the hand, and your opponent must set all their spells and traps before activating them, which, as I've already mentioned, this is just very, very lame if you're forced to set quick play spell cards, which is just, it's terrible since you're able to only activate them on the following turn. But if a spell trap card is like set on the field while this card is in the monster zone, you're actually able to pop 2 cards, so you can destroy your opponent's spells and traps that they set. So yeah, I think this card is actually really good. It's probably one of my favorite cards from the set. I just think it's really solid. So let me know if you're going to be running this in Chimera. Now let us move on to the last archetype for today's video. I guess let's talk about Yubel. I already, just like with Chimera, I have talked about Yubel a lot, but I really think this is one of the decks that is going to be able to actually rise to the top and get some meta relevancy. So I didn't want to include it in this video, but I will have another video up because there's a lot of archetypes receiving support, so be on the lookout for that as well. And don't beef with me in the comments if I haven't mentioned your deck in this video. I swear I will. So let's, you know, end on a high note and talk about Yubel. Look, they renamed the Grave Squirmer to Gruesome Grave Squirmer. I don't really know how to feel about that. I think it's a little cringe, but it doesn't really matter. Like, the effect is still really good. So if you control a fiend, quick effect, you can special summon this card from your hand, and then you can destroy one Yubel or one monster that mentions it in your monster zone. I have literally put this card in every single of my videos lately, so like at this point, I can probably recite the effect by heart. You can banish this card from your graveyard, special summon one fiend monster with 0 attack and defense from your hand or grave, and you can only use each effect once per turn. So it's getting you bodies. It's a target for Nightmare Throne, which is another card I want to talk about. And it's just so nice if you've looked at any combos, because it's able to get you to so many free bodies. You can just transition into the Unchained part of the Yubel Unchained deck so easily. Like, you literally make Yama like it's nothing. And I think that's just really awesome. So Yes, Nightmare Throne. When this card is activated, you can take one Fiend monster with 0 attack and defense from your deck, either add it to your hand or destroy it. Once per turn, if a face-up Yubel monster you control leaves the field by card effect, you're able to add to your hand one Yubel monster from your deck, grave, or banishment that's a level higher or lower than the monster that left the field, or one of the monsters. And you can also special summon it, ignoring its summoning conditions. So again, a free card, and you're also just able to, like with the first effect, decide if you want to pop Yubel, get some value off of that, or search Gravesquirmer, or do whatever. So yes, both of these cards are really nice, and Yubel is also receiving more support, which a lot of people assume is going to be in the Battles of Legends set. So yeah, like I said, I think it's going to be a meta-relevant deck. And if I were you, I would actually pick up all the Yubel cards if you haven't already. So yeah, that's going to be it for today's video. But like I said, I will have more content up for you when it comes to new decks receiving support. Like I said before, I like this Tier 0 format. Like I like the fire decks, but there seems to be some really, really cool decks coming out and, you know, just being better in the future. So I'm also excited about that. So if you like the video, make sure to give it a like, share your thoughts in the comments, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!